Have you ever felt something deeply confusing about your spiritual journey? The moment you start praying sincerely. The moment meditation becomes part of your daily life. The moment you choose honesty over convenience. Life does not become easier. It becomes harder. Relationships begin to shift. Plans fall apart without warning. Peace feels distant instead of closer. And quietly, a painful question rises inside you. If I am trying to walk closer to God, if I am choosing a spiritual life, then why am I being tested even more? This question has echoed in the hearts of spiritual seekers for centuries. And according to the wisdom inspired by Paramahansa Yogananda, the answer is far deeper than most people realize. What if these struggles are not signs of God's displeasure? What if they are signs that God is working very closely with you? Stay with me till the very end of this journey. Because this understanding can completely transform the way you see pain, struggle, and divine love. Before we go deeper, if you feel drawn to spirituality, if your soul seeks meaning beyond material success, and if you resonate with teachings inspired by Paramahansa Yogananda, subscribe to Inner Divine right now. Like this video so it reaches those who are silently struggling on the spiritual path. And comment below. Yes, I am on the spiritual path. Your comment carries intention. Your intention strengthens this sacred space. Now, let us begin. One of the greatest misunderstandings about spirituality is the belief that becoming spiritual makes life comfortable. It does not. It makes life conscious. When you live unconsciously, many things pass without touching you deeply. But when awareness awakens, nothing hidden can remain hidden. Spirituality turns on the inner light. And when the light turns on, everything that was hidden in darkness becomes visible. This is when tests begin. Paramahansa Yogananda explained that God does not test every soul equally. A soul that is asleep is not given advanced lessons. But a soul that begins to awaken is guided more intensely. Just like a teacher does not give difficult exams to beginners. Harder tests mean higher readiness. The first reason spiritual people attract more tests is because their consciousness is expanding. As awareness rises, karma accelerates. Lessons that could have taken many lifetimes are compressed into one. This feels overwhelming. But it is grace. Because the soul is ready to be freed. When you turn toward God, life becomes a classroom. Every experience becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes a teacher. Nothing is accidental. Nothing is wasted. The second reason spiritual people are tested is because God is building inner strength. Comfort creates dependency. Challenge creates faith. Anyone can believe in God when life is smooth. But real faith is born when nothing makes sense. Faith tested by hardship becomes unshakable. Another deep reason for spiritual tests is ego purification. The ego does not surrender gently. So life applies pressure. Plans fail. Identity dissolves. Control disappears. And slowly, the false self weakens. This feels painful. But liberation always begins with discomfort. Many spiritual people experience sudden losses. Relationships end. Careers collapse. Certainties vanish. And the mind asks, why is God taking everything away? But the soul understands. God only removes what you were never meant to depend on. Loss is often preparation. Spiritual people are often tested because they are meant to serve. But service requires depth. Wisdom cannot come from books alone. It comes from lived experience. Your suffering becomes understanding. Your pain becomes compassion. Nothing you go through is meaningless. One of the hardest tests on the spiritual path is loneliness. You feel disconnected. Even while surrounded by people. You still love them. But you no longer resonate with the same conversations, the same desires, the same distractions. This loneliness is sacred. It creates space for divine companionship. When the world becomes silent, God becomes audible. Another test is delayed reward. You live honestly. You act with integrity. Yet success feels slow. This delay trains detachment. God wants devotion, not dependence on outcomes. When you learn to act without expectation, freedom begins. Spiritual tests often strike what you are most attached to. Money, recognition, love, control. Not to hurt you, but to free you. Pain reveals attachment. Awareness dissolves it. Many seekers make one mistake. They ask God to remove the test. But tests remain until the lesson is learned. Resistance prolongs suffering. Acceptance accelerates growth. Uncertainty is one of the deepest tests. You do not know what comes next. You do not know how things will work out. This destroys the ego, but strengthens trust. Surrender is not weakness. It is the highest form of devotion. There will be phases when prayer feels empty, meditation feels dry, faith feels distant. Do not panic. This is a test of perseverance. Devotion that depends on feeling is still immature. True devotion continues. Even when emotion disappears. God sometimes hides his presence. Not to abandon you, but to deepen your longing. Absence intensifies love. Longing purifies devotion. This is why some of the greatest saints felt abandoned before they felt united. Spiritual people are often tested through misunderstanding. People misjudge your silence. They project their fears onto you. They misunderstand your withdrawal. But silence is not weakness. Silence is depth. Silence is strength. There will be moments when emotional support disappears. Friends do not understand. Family cannot relate. Even spiritual teachers feel distant. This is not abandonment. This is initiation. God removes external support so you can discover internal power. Another deep test is success itself. Success can inflate the ego faster than failure. So God tests spiritual people, even when they succeed, to see whether gratitude remains or ego takes control. True spirituality remains humble in both victory and loss. Physical fatigue and emotional heaviness often appear during deep inner change. Energy is reorganizing. Transformation is happening silently. Rest is not laziness. Silence is medicine. Waiting is another sacred test. You feel ready. Life says wait. Waiting builds humility. Humility invites grace. Grace accelerates destiny. At times, life feels unbearably heavy. You question your path. You question your faith. You even question God. This does not mean you are failing. It means something sacred is unfolding. God is often closest when clarity disappears. One day, you will look back and understand. Every delay was protection. Every loss was redirection. Every test was preparation. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Paramahansa Yogananda taught that God does not test spiritual people to see if they will break. God tests spiritual people to reveal how unbreakable they already are. If this message resonates with your soul, stay on this path. The road may be lonely, but the destination is divine. Subscribe to Inner Divine. This is not just a channel. It is a journey inward. Like this video. Share it with someone who is silently struggling. And comment below. I trust God's process. May peace replace fear. May trust replace doubt. May divine light guide every step of your journey.